Get ready to dream. Close your eyes, the story is about to begin. Ethan entered the old New England library with his heart racing. The building, wrapped in mystery and history, exuded a deep aroma of aged paper and polished wood. The tall and dusty oak shelves stood like monuments to a forgotten time. Each book seemed to whisper secrets of past eras, and the warm light filtering through the arched windows created an almost magical atmosphere. As he walked down the narrow aisle, Ethan reached out to touch the spine of an old volume, admiring the fading gold script. If only these books could talk, he murmured, a nostalgic smile on his lips. He had always felt more at home among pages and stories than among people. The library was his refuge, a place where he could escape from reality. Following his instinct, Ethan found himself drawn to an isolated section where the books seemed older and rarer. He crouched down to examine a low shelf when a distinctive volume caught his attention. It was a grimoire, its cover decorated with strange symbols and a texture that seemed to pulse under his fingers. "The Book of Shadows," he read aloud. Something about those words echoed within him, as if calling out to him. With a surge of curiosity, Ethan pulled the grimoire from the shelf. As he did, a wave of energy coursed through his body, and he almost dropped the book. Wow, what was that? He looked around, but the library remained silent, as if nothing had happened. With a mix of excitement and apprehension, he decided to open the book. The pages were yellowed and fragile, and as he ran his fingers over them, Ethan felt an inexplicable connection. He stopped on a page that contained a spell. The words danced before his eyes, seeming to come alive. "Awaken, O imprisoned spirit, and come to the light of the world," he read aloud, his voice echoing in the silent room. As the last words left his lips, a current of electricity swept through the room. The lights began to flicker, and an inexplicable wind lifted leaves and dust around him. The air seemed to vibrate with a tangible energy. Ethan, frightened, stepped back, but his legs were frozen by both curiosity and fear. In an instant, a burst of light erupted in the center of the room, and a figure began to form. Ethan rubbed his eyes, trying to comprehend what was happening. A woman appeared, surrounded by an ethereal glow, her long, wavy hair floating as if submerged in water. She looked around, confused, her eyes like two deep lakes. Who am I?" the woman asked, her voice soft but filled with disbelief. "Where am I?" Ethan, still stunned, managed to respond, You're in the library. I set you free." The words came out in a hesitant whisper, as if he feared breaking the magic of the moment. "Set me free?" She looked directly at him, her eyes shining with a mix of surprise and recognition. "I am Lila, a sorceress imprisoned by a curse." "But how did you do this?" I don't know. I just read what was in the book," Ethan replied, awe and fear mixing in his heart. "I never thought something like this could happen." Lila frowned, her expression shifting from confusion to concern. "My freedom is not as simple as it seems. I am trapped between two worlds, and this curse still haunts me. You shouldn't have done this." "But I didn't know," Ethan protested, his voice rising a little. "I just wanted to understand. The library is full of secrets, and I'm just a student. A student who just opened a door that should never have been opened," Lila replied, her voice now more firm. "We must be careful, for the consequences of your actions could be devastating." Ethan felt a chill down his spine, but also a spark of determination. "What can I do to help?" he asked, his heart pounding. He wasn't sure what he felt for her, but something inside him had already changed irreversibly. The connection he felt was intense, and he was willing to face any challenge to learn more about Lila and the curse that imprisoned her. Ethan watched Lila, the newly freed sorceress, with a mix of fascination and concern. The light that surrounded her was slowly fading, revealing a face that reflected both beauty and fragility. She was caught between two worlds, and the expression on her face betrayed the internal struggle she was facing. The library, with its immense and shadowy shelves, seemed to silently watch, as if it knew the secrets hidden within. "I don't know how this happened," Lila murmured, her voice trembling. "The last thing I remember is the spell being cast on me. Now, I'm free, but freedom comes at a price." Her eyes, which had once shone like stars, were now clouded with uncertainty. "What price?" Ethan asked, feeling a knot form in his stomach. He wasn't ready to hear that Lila's release could mean something he couldn't bear. "I am bound by a curse," she explained, the sadness in her voice echoing off the library walls. "For every day of freedom, a part of me must be sacrificed. If we don't find a way to break this, I will be doomed to return to darkness." "No, that can't be true." Ethan shook his head, trying to dismiss the idea forming in his mind. "We can find a solution. The library holds secrets, and if you're a sorceress, there must be a way to break this curse." Lila looked at him, a flicker of hope mixed with despair. "You don't understand, Ethan. The curse is more complex than it seems. It's tied to a prophecy, something I can't control. This library holds not only knowledge but also challenges we must face together." "Together?" Ethan repeated, his heart racing. The thought of facing this with her was both thrilling and terrifying. "You mean we need to solve this together?" "Yes," Lila confirmed, her voice now more resolute. "But I can't promise we'll come out unscathed. There are forces in this library that we don't understand. Mystical creatures, guardians of knowledge. They won't let us uncover the truth easily." "Then what are we waiting for?" Ethan said, deciding that no matter what they faced, he wouldn't leave Lila alone. "Let's find out what the library is hiding. We have to try." Lila's eyes sparkled with a flash of determination. "We need to find clues, maybe an old map or a diary that belonged to the former librarian. He might have left something behind to help us understand the curse." As they walked through the dusty shelves, Ethan felt the tension in the air grow stronger. He was aware that the attraction he felt for Lila was becoming more intense, but now was not the time for such thoughts. They needed to stay focused. The silence of the library seemed to envelop them, and every step they took echoed like a warning. "Ethan," Lila said, stopping in front of a tall shelf. "You need to know that my presence here could cause problems. The curse isn't just about me, it could affect you too." "I can't worry about that now," he replied firmly. "You're the person well, that doesn't matter. What matters is that we face this together." She smiled, a sad but comforting smile. "Love is complicated, Ethan. What if I lose you again?" "I won't let you go," he said, his voice filled with growing determination. "We'll figure this out. I promise." With those words, Lila touched the shelf, and a soft light began to glow from a particular book. "Here's something," she exclaimed, pulling out the dusty volume. "We might find answers here. Let's see what the library can teach us about our fate." Ethan watched her, admiring the courage and strength she displayed. Together, they were ready to dive deep into the library, determined to uncover the truth that awaited them. Ethan and Lila ventured deeper into the library, the soft candlelight casting dancing shadows on the dusty shelves. The air was thick with tension and a mystical energy that seemed to vibrate around them. A sense of urgency was building inside Ethan. They were on the verge of discovering something important. Suddenly, a whisper cut through the silence, like the rustling of dry leaves. "Do you feel that?" Lila asked, her eyes shimmering with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. "The library is alive." Ethan nodded, adrenaline coursing through his veins. "Yeah, it's like the shelves are guarding secrets. We need to understand what's happening here." As they walked, a shadow moved quickly between the books, and Lila stopped abruptly, her heightened senses detecting something supernatural. "Be careful, Ethan. We're not alone." Before they could react, a mystical creature emerged from the shadows, its form a blend of serpent and shadow, with glowing eyes that seemed to pierce the soul. "You shouldn't be here," the creature growled, its voice rumbling like thunder. "The library guards its secrets with the strength of many. We need to know the truth about Lila's curse," Ethan said, his heart pounding. "We don't want trouble, but we need to understand." The creature laughed, a cruel sound that echoed off the walls. "Truth comes at a price. Only the worthy may pass." Lila looked at Ethan, her eyes full of determination. "We're ready to face whatever it takes." With a swift move, the creature lunged, its claws ready to strike. Instinctively, Ethan stepped in front of Lila as she channeled her magic. "Stay behind me," she shouted, her voice strong despite the situation. A pulsing light erupted from her hands, and the creature hesitated. "You can't stop me with magic alone. The library has its own defenses." "Then we'll find out what it's really protecting," Ethan said, feeling a surge of courage. He began to recite the spell Lila had taught him, his voice echoing in the room. "By the forces around us, grant us the power to see beyond." The light intensified, and the environment around them started to distort. "What did you do?" Lila asked, surprised as the library transformed into a labyrinth of illusions. The books seemed to float, and the walls shifted, making each step uncertain. "I don't know. But we need to keep moving," Ethan responded, pulling Lila toward him as the creature regrouped. She cast a spell to disorient the creature, and light exploded in a cloud of brilliance. "You can't escape," the creature shouted, but its tone was now less threatening, more confused. It hesitated, the light disrupting its perception. "Come on, Ethan. We need to find the truth," Lila exclaimed, her voice full of determination, renewing Ethan's courage. They ran deeper into the library, where an ancient map was revealed on a table surrounded by open books. "Look," Ethan said, pointing to the map. "It seems this place has a much deeper history than we imagined." Lila leaned over the map, her eyes lighting up as she recognized ancient symbols. This speaks of a forbidden love. The connection between my curse and the city's history might be here. "We need to figure out how this relates to you and the curse," Ethan said, his mind buzzing with questions. "If the Guardian is involved, maybe we can find a way to defeat it." As they studied the map, the creature approached again, now more cautious. "You cannot change what has already happened. The curse binds you to this place. But we can understand and confront our past," Lila declared, her voice filled with conviction. "And if you're a guardian, maybe we can join forces instead of fighting." Ethan looked at Lila, admiring her bravery. "We need to prepare for what's coming next. Whatever the library is hiding, we have to face it together." With that, the bond between them strengthened, and the desire to unravel the mystery of the curse became a shared mission, despite the dangers still awaiting them. Ethan walked through the library, his heart racing, as shadows danced on the shelves filled with ancient books. The atmosphere was thick with mystery and magic, and he couldn't ignore the strange connection he felt with Lila. But as they delved deeper into the library's secrets, an unsettling truth began to unfold. "You know your family has a long history of distrust toward magical beings, right?" Ethan asked, his voice hesitant as he watched Lila, who seemed lost in her own thoughts. She looked at him, a hint of worry in her eyes. "I know. I often wonder if that affects what you feel for me." Ethan frowned, trying to process the information. The weight of his family's legacy felt overwhelming. "I don't want my family's past to separate us, Lila. You're different. You're real, and I can't just ignore what's happening between us." Lila sighed, a shadow of sadness crossing her face. "But you don't understand, Ethan. My past isn't just a distant story. My actions led to the curse that imprisoned me. I'm to blame." He interrupted her, shaking his head. "No, that's not fair. You can't carry this guilt alone. I also have a past I'm not proud of, and I don't let it define who I am. But you don't know what I did. I betrayed the trust of the person I loved most." Lila's gaze drifted to the shelves, as if searching for some answer among the dusty books. "The curse was a consequence of my choices." Ethan stepped closer to her, placing his hand on her shoulder. "Then we'll face this together. We can't let what happened in the past stop us from fighting for the future." She looked at him, determination starting to shine in her eyes. "Do you really believe we can break this curse?" "I believe." He smiled, feeling a wave of hope. "If the library holds secrets that can help us, then we need to explore them. Let's uncover the truth behind your curse." Lila nodded, feeling lighter. The bond between them grew stronger with every moment they shared. "Yes, let's do that. But we need to be careful. We don't know what else this library is hiding. As they continued to explore, they found an old dusty diary that seemed to belong to the library's founder. The pages were filled with notes about spells and enchantments, and among them, one passage caught Lila's attention. "Ethan, look at this," she exclaimed, pointing to an illustration. "This image, it's of the library's guardian. He looks familiar." "Familiar?" Ethan frowned. "What do you mean by that?" "I know him. He was someone I trusted, someone who betrayed me." Lila's expression filled with pain. "That's why I'm trapped, because of his revenge." Ethan could see the depth of the pain she carried, but he also saw the determination in her eyes. "Then we need to find him and confront this betrayal." "You're not alone, Lila." She smiled, her heart filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Ethan, for believing in me, even when I can't believe in myself. It's not just that I believe in you. I believe in us." He took her hand, a silent pact between them, ready to face whatever came next. As day turned into night, the library seemed to come alive around them, the whispers of the books echoing promises of revelations. They knew the path ahead would be full of challenges, but together they were willing to explore every shadow and every secret, determined to free Lila from her prison and face the ghosts of the past that threatened to tear them apart. The soft light of the library illuminated the dusty shelves, where time seemed to have stopped. Ethan and Lila sat at a dark wooden table, surrounded by scrolls and ancient books. The smell of aged paper filled the air, mixing with the electricity that pulsed between them. What began as a shared curiosity had now become a deep bond, forged in the flames of adventure and discovery. "It's amazing how this place holds so many secrets," Ethan said, flipping through a worn leather-bound book. "I feel like every page has a story to tell." Lila smiled, her eyes glowing with an inner light. "And every story can change someone's destiny. Like mine. And yours." There was a depth to her words that didn't escape Ethan. He turned to her, his eyes full of questions. "You don't have to carry all this weight alone, Lila. We're in this together. I want to understand what's happening." He hesitated before continuing. "I want to understand you." The sorceress took a deep breath, vulnerability showing in her gaze. "Ethan, the curse that imprisoned me isn't just a burden I carry. It's a part of me. Every mistake, every choice I made has led me here." She looked down at the floor, as if the memories were dancing in her mind. "I'm not just a victim. I'm responsible too. But you don't need to blame yourself for the past. We all make mistakes." Ethan leaned forward, his voice soft and encouraging. "I have my own doubts, and my family, they've always been suspicious of magical beings. It makes me feel torn, but you're not just a sorceress. You're Lila. And that's all that matters to me." She looked up at him, and the connection between them seemed to grow stronger. "Your acceptance means more than words can express. But what if I can't break the curse? What if you end up getting hurt because of me? If I get hurt, so be it. I can't just walk away from you. What we're facing is bigger than both of us, and I can't ignore that." The determination in Ethan's voice echoed through the silent room. Lila smiled shyly, but the shadow of insecurity still lingered over her. "There's something you need to understand. Love, true love, can require sacrifices. Are you willing to do that?" Ethan hesitated, the weight of the question hanging in the air. "What are you saying? What does this mean for us?" His heart raced, a mix of hope and fear. "If I free myself from the curse, I might have to leave everything behind. And that includes you." Her words came out as a whisper, but their impact hit him like thunder in his mind. "I can't accept that." He stood up, frustration overflowing. "Lila, we can find a way. We can't give up on each other before we even try." She stood up too, her gaze firm. "Ethan, you don't understand. It's not just about us. It's about what's at stake. If I fail, many lives could be affected. I can't put you in that position. Then let's fight together. We can't let fear of what might happen paralyze us. We can face this, and I'll stand by your side, no matter what. The conviction in his voice was contagious, and Lila felt a surge of hope growing within her. Maybe you're right. She took a deep breath, the weight on her heart a little lighter. We need to find out what this curse really means and how it connects us. Ethan smiled, the spark in his eyes growing brighter. And that's what we'll do. We'll unravel the mysteries of the library and uncover the truth it holds. Together. Lila nodded, the renewed determination reflecting in her eyes. Yes, together. But we need to be prepared. What's coming may be more challenging than we imagine. And yet, the promise of a future they could build side by side lit up their hopes amidst the darkness surrounding them. The atmosphere in the library was thick with tension when Lila and Ethan sensed the presence of the Guardian. He appeared among the shelves like a shadow slowly materializing, his eyes glowing with a mix of anger and disdain. The shelves, once silent, seemed to murmur in warning, as if the atmosphere itself was aware of the imminent threat. Lila, the Guardian said, his deep voice echoing through the space, you shouldn't be here. Your presence is an abomination, an insult to the order of this place. Lila stepped back, her body tense like a rope about to snap. What do you want from me, Guardian? Wasn't what you did enough? Her voice trembled, but there was undeniable courage in her words. I want what is mine back, he replied, his eyes locked on her. You were mine once, and the curse you bear is the price you paid for your betrayal. Have you forgotten who you truly are? Ethan watched, confused. What do you mean by betrayal? He stepped forward, placing himself between Lila and the Guardian, determined to protect her. She didn't do anything wrong. Ah, the young hero, the Guardian mocked, a cruel smile forming on his lips. You know nothing of this world. Lila has always been part of it, and her actions led her to this horrible fate. She turned away from her true power, and as a result, she was imprisoned. I didn't turn away from my power, Lila protested, her voice now stronger, though doubt was creeping into her heart. I did what was right. Right for whom? The Guardian moved closer, and the library seemed to tremble around him. Have you forgotten the love you once had for me, Lila? The love that bound us, which you threw away on a whim. Now, you must pay. Ethan looked at Lila, trying to understand the depth of the connection between them. Don't listen to him, Lila. He's trying to manipulate you. Manipulate? The Guardian laughed, a cold sound that echoed through the walls. It's not manipulation when the truth is revealed. Lila, you need to decide, do you want to keep fighting for this fragile human love, or reclaim who you really are? I am more than just a sorceress, Lila replied, the determination beginning to shine in her eyes. I'm here because I chose Ethan, and that's not a weakness. Choices aren't what you think, dear, the Guardian said, his tone soft, almost seductive, but filled with venom. The curse you carry is living proof that you can't escape your destiny. And now, you're stuck between two worlds, with no way out. I'm not stuck, Lila declared, her heart pounding. I have Ethan by my side. Together, we can break this. The Guardian shook his head, laughing dismissively. Do you really believe a mere human can help you? He's nothing but an obstacle, a burden. And you, Lila, must choose, him or your freedom. The tension grew thicker, and Ethan felt the adrenaline rush through his veins. You can't do this to her, he shouted, frustration boiling over. Lila is strong, and will find a way to defeat you. No matter what you say. Strong? The Guardian turned to Ethan, his expression becoming threatening. You have no idea what you're talking about. The love you feel for her is a weakness, and I will use it to destroy you both. Enough! Lila shouted, a wave of power flowing from her body. I'm no longer a victim of your lies. If you want to fight, then so be it. I'll face you, and this time, I won't be alone. The Guardian smiled, but his gaze remained cold. Prepare yourself, then. The battle ahead will reveal not only the strength of your magic, but also the truth behind the curse you carry. You're about to learn that everything you know may not be what it seems. With those words, the The atmosphere grew heavier, as if the very books were holding their breath, waiting for the unfolding confrontation. The fate of Lila and Ethan hung in the balance, and the truth hidden in the shadows of the library was about to be revealed. The tension was thick in the air, and Ethan felt the weight of the decision he was about to make. He looked into Lila's eyes, which held a mix of vulnerability and strength. The guardian, an imposing presence with a sardonic smile, waited in a corner of the library, as if savoring the despair of the situation. "You don't have to do this, Ethan," Lila said, her voice trembling slightly. "I don't want you to sacrifice everything for me. You still have a life you can return to." "But I don't want to go back to that life without you," Ethan replied, his voice growing more determined. "You're everything I've ever looked for, Lila. If it means facing the guardian and risking everything, then that's what I'll do." He stepped forward, facing the guardian. "I'm not afraid of you." The guardian laughed disdainfully. "Courage is not what you need, boy. You're about to make a choice that could cost your beloved her life. Lila is bound to me, and you cannot change that." Lila turned to Ethan, her eyes shining with a mixture of love and pain. "Ethan, please. Don't let anger drive you. Whatever he says, it's not worth it. I can handle this." "Handle it?" "Lila, you shouldn't have to fight this alone." "We're a team," Ethan exclaimed, frustration clear in his words. "Together, we can find a way to break this curse. You're not alone." She hesitated, her expression wavering between hope and despair. "But the cost," Lila began, her voice cracking. "What's the cost?" Ethan interrupted, his voice intense. "I don't care what we have to sacrifice. I care about you." Lila took a deep breath, her mind racing to the memory of a powerful spell that could free her, but it required a great sacrifice. "Ethan, there's a spell. One that could free me, but it's dangerous. It requires a sacrifice from one of us." "One of us?" "No, we can't do that. We can't put a price on what we mean to each other." Ethan looked at Lila, the depth of his love reflected in his eyes. "You don't have to do this alone. We'll find a way to do it together. But what if it means you have to give up something important? Are you willing to do that?" Lila asked, her concern evident in her tone. "I'm willing to do anything," Ethan replied, courage burning in his chest. "I can't imagine my life without you. If it means facing the guardian and whatever else he throws at us, then I'll say yes." The guardian, who had been watching the exchange between the two, interrupted with a sarcastic laugh. "Young love, how charming. But don't fool yourselves, love can't conquer all. I am the only reality you will know from now on." Ethan turned to the guardian, feeling the anger boil inside him. "You may have power, but you have no control over what we feel. Lila and we can face this together. And when we unite, you'll be nothing but a distant memory." Lila looked at Ethan, her determination growing. "That's right. Together, we are stronger than you will ever be." Ethan nodded confidently. "Let's do this, Lila. We'll find a way to break this curse. No matter what happens, I'll be by your side." Lila smiled, the light of hope beginning to shine in her heart again. "Then let's go. If you believe we can, I believe too." And so, together, they prepared for what was to come, ready to face the guardian and the curse that threatened them, with the strength of their love guiding them. The library had become a labyrinth of shadows and light, a place where reality twisted and magic pulsed through the stone walls. Ethan and Lila, side by side, stood against the guardian, an imposing figure who seemed to absorb all the darkness around him. The air was thick with tension, and the scent of old paper and dust mingled with the magic emanating from the grimoires. "You can't stop us," Ethan shouted, his voice echoing through the hall of books. The guardian, a man with cold eyes and a sneer on his face, only smiled mockingly. "You really think you can change fate? Lila's curse is my masterpiece, and I won't let her escape." His deep voice rumbled like thunder, reverberating through the shelves. Lila, her eyes glowing intensely, turned to Ethan, her expression determined yet fragile under the pressure. "Ethan, we need to combine our strength. Together, we're stronger than he thinks. Ethan looked at her, feeling a surge of courage. I won't let him hurt you. Let's fight. He reached out to Lila, and as their hands touched, a vibrant energy surged through them as if 100 stars were shining between them. Let's do this. Lila nodded, and without hesitation, she began chanting an ancient spell she had learned during her time as a prisoner. The words flowed from her lips like a hypnotic song, and a golden light began to swirl around them, forming a protective aura. The guardian laughed, scoffing at the power rising before him. You're just children playing with fire. You have no idea what you're summoning. He raised his hands, and with a swift motion, a wave of dark energy shot towards them. The golden light around Lila intensified, forming a barrier that absorbed the attack, though the pressure was immense. Ethan, focus on me. Lila shouted, her face contorted with effort. Feel the connection between us. That's what makes us strong. Ethan closed his eyes for a moment, feeling the warmth of Lila's hand in his, and the energy that pulsed between them. I'm here with you, Lila. Let's do this together. The determination within him grew, and he began to feel a strength he never knew he had. This is just the beginning, the guardian snarled, attacking again, but this time Ethan raised his other hand, and to his surprise, a blue light began to emanate from it. What is this? He murmured, astonished. It's you, Ethan. It's your essence. You're awakening. Lila exclaimed, smiling despite the pressure of the battle. Use it. Together, we can transform this. He took a deep breath, and as he opened his eyes, he saw the magic intertwining, their colors dancing between them. Let's finish this, he shouted, and together they directed their energies toward the guardian. The impact was explosive. The fusion of their magic created a wave of light that illuminated the library, revealing hidden secrets in the shadows. Scrolls began to float, and the shelves shifted, forming a pulsing labyrinth that surrounded the guardian. No! What have you done? The guardian screamed, trapped by the light. His fury was palpable, but Ethan and Lila were determined not to back down. Hold steady! Lila shouted, her voice firm and filled with power. We're stronger together. The battle intensified, and Ethan realized that the strength he felt wasn't just from him or Lila, but from the bond they had formed. The library's magic responded to their union, and they were about to discover what it truly meant to fight for love. When all seemed lost, the library was wrapped in tense silence, broken only by the distant sound of shelves shifting and pages turning, as if the books themselves were watching the epic battle unfold. Lila, with a determined gaze, felt a wave of energy pulsing within her. It was as if the library was connecting to her essence, an echo of ancient magic resonating in every corner. With a swift gesture, she raised her hands, and a golden light began to glow from her fingertips. Ethan, she shouted, her voice cutting through the darkness. Stay behind me. I can protect you. He hesitated, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. Lila, no! Don't do this for me. You've sacrificed too much already. But her determination was unshakable. If there's a chance to break this curse, I have to try. We need to combine our strength. The guardian, watching the scene with a malicious grin, stepped forward. You really think this barrier will protect him? Love is a weakness, and I'll prove it right now. He fired a wave of dark energy at Ethan. Lila, concentrating all her strength, raised the barrier. The golden light intensified, forming a shield that absorbed the dark energy. The impact was so strong that it made the ground tremble. No! I won't let you hurt him. Lila's voice was steady, but Ethan could see the exhaustion in her eyes, the weariness of so many battles. The guardian roared with anger. You're a fool, Lila. You can't escape your destiny. I'll finish both of you. He attacked again, but the barrier still held, pulsing with the energy Lila was channeling. Ethan, she said, gasping for breath, the library's energy, it's more powerful than we thought. We need to connect with it. Together, we can do this. How? He asked, worried about her state. You're draining yourself. Trust me. Remember the stories we read. The library holds secrets. We need to discover what's needed to break this curse. Ethan felt the bond he had with Lila growing stronger with every word. He closed his eyes, trying to feel the energy around him. The library felt alive, its walls pulsing with ancient history, a magic waiting for them. "Let's do this, Lila. I'm with you." With a surge of strength, they joined hands, the golden light wrapping around them in a warm embrace. The energy of the library began to flow around them as if the shelves and books were joining in their fight. The guardian, sensing the shift, hesitated. "What are you doing? This won't work. You underestimated the power of love," Lila declared, her voice filled with confidence. "And it's not just mine. It's the love we have for each other and the strength that comes from our intertwined pasts." As the light grew, Ethan and Lila began to see the history of the library, the layers of magic surrounding it. The books seemed to whisper secrets, revealing an ancient protection against evil forces. "Yes, that's it," Ethan exclaimed, his face lighting up with understanding. "We need to channel this energy, turn it into a protective spell." "Focus, Ethan. Think of everything we've fought for," Lila urged, her voice steady despite her exhaustion. Together, they began to recite words that echoed in their minds, an ancient enchantment unfolding from the lines of an old grimoire. The light around them intensified, and the guardian, now visibly alarmed, tried to break through the barrier, but the magic was growing stronger. "No! This can't be happening," he screamed as the golden light transformed into a protective shield, enveloping Ethan and Lila in a powerful aura of safety. The library responded to their determination, releasing a wave of energy that made the books dance on the shelves. The guardian, consumed by rage, launched a final attack, but the barrier held firm, reflecting his own energy back at him. The bright light expanded, and Ethan and Lila felt the power of the library merging with theirs, revealing Lila's true nature and the strength they had together. "We're almost there," Lila exclaimed, her voice full of hope. "We just need a little more faith." And as the guardian fought against the rising wave of energy, the library seemed to whisper its support, guiding them toward victory. In the heart of the library, where echoes of ancient spells still lingered in the shadows, Ethan stood frozen before a revelation that would change everything. The truth about Lila's curse unfolded in his mind like a dark flower. The curse was a trap, Ethan. The guardian created it because of a lost love, a revenge that should never have existed, she said, her voice trembling with the weight of her words. Ethan looked into Lila's eyes, searching for the certainty she couldn't give. "So everything we faced, it was all because of selfish love?" He shook his head, trying to grasp the depth of that betrayal. "He trapped you because of a broken heart?" Lila nodded slowly, her expression a mixture of pain and resolve. "It's a cycle of pain." The guardian didn't realize that his thirst for revenge only kept the sadness going. "I'm not the only one suffering here." A heat rose within Ethan, a rage against the guardian that he barely understood. "We need to end this, Lila. We can't let him win." "But how?" Lila whispered, her voice fragile. "I'm weak, and he has powers we can't even imagine. We need to combine our strengths. The library, all the secrets it holds, maybe the answer is here." Ethan looked around, the shelves heavy with books that seemed to whisper long-forgotten secrets. The guardian, sensing their growing connection, stormed into the room, his gaze fierce like a storm. "Do you think you can defeat me? Your bond is a weakness. I know this story. Your emotions will turn against you." "No more!" Ethan shouted, his voice ringing with defiance. "I won't let you trap her again." A cruel smile formed on the guardian's lips. "You don't understand. The only way to free her is to sacrifice something you love. Are you willing to do that?" Ethan hesitated, the dilemma forming like a shadow in his heart. I don't know what to sacrifice, but I love her. I'm willing to risk everything for her." Lila, sensing Ethan's internal struggle, stepped closer, taking his hands. "Ethan, you don't have to do this. Love shouldn't be a sacrifice, it should be our strength. But if it means your freedom, no. That would only keep the pain going." The Guardian wants you to feel guilty. Don't let him win. The Guardian laughed, a cold sound. Pathetic. You think you can challenge me? I am the keeper of secrets, and I won't allow this. With determination building inside him, Ethan unleashed a wave of magical energy, drawing on everything he had learned from Lila. You're not stronger than the love we have for each other. The Guardian hesitated, as the aura of Ethan and Lila intertwined in a brilliant light. The walls of the library began to tremble, the books flying off the shelves, as if they wanted to join the fight. No! This can't be happening, the Guardian screamed, his form starting to distort as he struggled to maintain control. Unite your essences. Lila cried, her voice strong and clear. Together, we're more powerful than any curse. Ethan felt Lila's energy flow through him, a connection that transcended pain and fear. He remembered all the moments they had shared, the way their paths had intertwined, and he knew that together they could break any curse. With a unified cry, they channeled all their strength, a wave of radiant light that filled the library, revealing hidden secrets. The Guardian screamed in despair, his form fading as the light surrounded them. This isn't over. I will return. Finally, the light faded, and silence filled the library. Ethan and Lila stood, breathing heavily but together. We did it, Ethan murmured, looking at Lila, his eyes full of love and hope. Yes, but at what cost? Lila replied, sadness still lingering in her expression. Ethan took a deep breath, realizing the battle was over, but the real struggle was just beginning. Lila, you're free, but I can't go back to my family. They'll never accept this. We don't mean anyone else, Ethan. What we have is enough. He pulled her closer, their connection stronger than ever. I choose you. My family may not understand, but my heart knows what's right. Together, they walked away from the library, ready to face a new world where true love could finally flourish, free from the shadows of the past. Good night and enchanted dreams.